like when buildings need to evacuate, I mean, like a training.
Okay.
So I had some meetings at the time that this was going to take place, so I decided to just work from home today.
Okay. 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 Today's is our last encounter.
It is.
It is. Okay. This is a short class. This is only the exam, and I'm going to explain um, it. Okay. I have two questions. Yes. The
Hmm.
topic is very easy. The topic is about hobbies and free time, free activities, no more.
Okay.
Then for each question, you have 2 minutes for answering. Um, that's all.
Okay.
Okay. The first question is, what are your hobbies?
Okay. Um, I don't have any hobbies.
No.
Well, as I've told you before, I spend most of the time playing video games. So when I'm not studying or working, and if I have any free time at all, I just stay at home playing video games. So mainly shooting games or adventure games. So that's basically what I do. Um, I would love to travel more, but traveling is a little bit expensive. If that can be counted as a hobby. What else? Listening to music, if it can be counted as a hobby, which I don't think so. So yeah, basically just playing video games most of the time. I don't know what else to say.
Anything. You talk a lot.
Okay, I don't know. Reading maybe. When I have time, I have a couple of books that I need to read, but I haven't had the time. So, and I actually don't have the books, but my previous boss recommended me a book which is called How to Make Friends and Inspire People. He
Mhm.
told me that this book is probably going to help me in understanding people's behavior.
Mhm.
Now, since I'm working as a manager, so I need to try to understand people better and not just go and ask questions. Just try to understand when something is not going the way that I expect it to go.
Mhm.
So try to identify what is happening with them if they're having issues in their lives or anything like that, and try to care about those issues, not just go and say like, "Hey, why are you doing this? Why are you not doing this?"
Mhm.
So I think that's something that I will need to learn. Probably, sorry. It would be good to read the book. So yes, reading books, learning every day, whatever I can learn can be counted as a hobby as well. English language, for example, is very important um, for me to keep learning. So I use English as a hobby to try to improve every day.
Okay. Okay. The second question is related to the first question, but it doesn't matter. You can talk. What do you enjoy to do in your free time?
Well, yes, as I mentioned, playing video games. I actually bought two games last week. One of them is called Need for Speed Heat. I don't know if you know what Need for Speed is.
Mm-mm.
It's
I don't know
a car
anything about
simulator.
video games.
It's a Need for Speed is a brand of games that have been in the market for like I don't know 25 years or something.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a car simulator. So
Oh,
you you have a car on the screen and you need to drive the car, and mainly um, this game is related to have you ever watched this movie Fast and Furious?
yes.
So it's similar to that. I think Fast and Furious came out from Need for Speed video game.
Mhm.
So they're racers. They're called racers, people that have custom cars that are mainly for races. Um, take over the streets and get into illegal races. So in this game, you can play in morning or at the night. Sorry, you can play at morning or night, and depending on in which mode you play, you're going to either collect money or collect popularity. So when you drive at night, for example, you are going to get into illegal races, but at the same time you have to avoid police. And if you get caught, then all the money that you earn from the race is going to be taken from you because you have to pay a fee, or mm, how do you call that? Like I don't remember the word, but it's if you get be, instead of going to jail, you have to pay, right? So
Like a reward? No?
it's not a reward because it's not something you're earning. It's actually you have to pay. So yeah, it's like a fee. So they tell you that to be able to not go to jail, then you have to give like $500,000, right? So the money that you were collecting within the game, it's going to be taken from you if the police bust you. So the idea is to avoid getting busted. So the game is actually pretty fun. You can customize your cars, you can paint them, you can yeah, do whatever you want with the car. And also, I bought another game which is called Sonic. Sonic, it's a hedgehog that runs very fast. So this is also a game that has been in the market for several years. People know it's kind of Mario Bros, but with a hedgehog.
I am
Uh,
so ignorant about video games. Sorry.
it's okay. So you have several
Do
stages.
enjoy to talk about this topic a lot of.
Yeah, but that's because I spend a lot of time playing them. So I find them interesting and following the movie because you're actually following scripts, and the game is scripted, so you're at the time you're moving forward, the game is also moving forward, so there's a story behind and you can understand the story, and it's actually pretty fun to just go along with it. It's not real or anything like that, but it's just taking time from you, and making you think about different things that you don't really want to think about, like for example, you had a stressful day, so you just go online and play.
Mhm.
So other people do drugs, I do video games.
No, that's better. Video games.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the text. Very easy. Very simple test. And I
Okay,
need a favor from you.
sure.
I need that you, at this moment, you talk about the class, but I need a feedback about the class.
To you, give you a feedback.
You give me a feedback.
Okay, so what can I say? The class was good. um every class, it seemed that you were prepared, you had everything prepared to provide a class. The exercises were actually fun. There was time to play and to learn a little bit more. If I want to be honest, um, I didn't cancel because I thought that you were interesting to speak with, and because you and I kind of got like along, we understood each other, and it was like a teacher and student good communication that we had, right? But if I want to be honest, I was expecting this class to be a little bit more challenging because, and this is not your fault, this is actually the university's fault because I was asked at the beginning of the semester which level did I think that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said that I was C1, so I was expecting a class that was going to be more challenging. It's not that you're not great because you are, uh, but there are things that I felt like I was teaching you instead of you teaching me. It's
Mm-hmm.
not bad. I don't want you to take it personally because I like you and the class was really good. But the university should focus on students that have a higher level to be pushing forward, right? So, as I said, this is not your fault. The class was actually very, very well prepared. Everything was great, but the university's fault. And I hope that whoever is watching this video take this into consideration, uh, because these are the kind of things that you actually like makes you want to think, or sorry, makes you think if you really want to move forward with the career,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know? And this is not only on these speaking classes. This is also happening in English class overall. So the exercises. I mean, I understand that not everybody in the that gets into this career knows English already, and there should be classes for people that don't really know the language so they can get better.
Mm-hmm.
But I also probably this is also my fault because I should have just gone and take the how do you call it, the certification, and just do not take classes or English classes because I already know the language, right? But when you get into university, you actually expect to learn a little bit more. As I told you before many times, I don't know anything or everything about the English language. If I'm not perfect in Spanish, it's impossible to be perfect in English,
Mm-hmm.
even though I've been studying the language for like 16 years or something like that. So yeah, I think I was expecting a little bit more challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It was anyway a pleasure working with you and helping each other to learn new words because there were times that you didn't know the word and I didn't know the word. Um, so yeah, it's I think it's more university's fault than anything else.
Okay, and now this is a personal question. If if you are the teacher, how do you see the best way to develop a good English class? This is an advice for me.
Actually, I think you do a pretty good job because I wouldn't be able to do this, you know. I'm trying to study this career because I know a lot of English, but I don't know how to teach it.
Mhm.
And I don't have patience. And I think the one of the most important things that a teacher should have is patience and understand that there is room for both of them. Or maybe if you have a class with 30 people, you need to understand that there's room for them to teach you some things, and there's room for you to teach a lot of things to them, right? So as I said, you do a pretty good job, a very actually a very good job because as I said, you have audios prepared, you had activities prepared. Every class, you were certain about what we were going to do. Uh, Everything was already ready uh, to be taught, right? Or to play, or to just talk. And also, it was very important that every class, at least for me, it was very important that every class you just didn't come in and say, "Hey, let's start class," but what you did actually was coming to class, and the first thing that we did was talking about our days. Hey, how are you? How was your day? What did you do today? Did you have fun? How are you feeling? So it was. I think that's actually what created the very good communication that we had along the class, because you were not only interested in giving your class, but also interested in how I was, probably how I was feeling that particular day, or what did I do. And I think it's something that you did really good in this class, and you should keep doing it, because it's important to establish these kind of connections with your students, right? So if you don't have a connection with your students, they're not going to like the class, and they're just gonna be there because they have to, right? So I think that's what I liked the most about these classes that I had with you these past couple of weeks. Um, Even though it was very short, we were seeing each other just twice a week. We had the time to create a connection between each other, so that made the classes even better.
Yeah, this kind of connection is very important for me because I am talking with a person.
Exactly. Even if we're not face to face, even if we're using the internet to be able to talk, the connection still exists. So you don't really need a connection, or create a connection only if the person is next to you. Uh, Connections can also happen through the internet, and this is a very good example that they happen. And I appreciate your work, and I appreciate your level, and everything you taught me, because there were things that I didn't know and you actually taught them to me, and you were patient. If I didn't know something, you would tell me, or understand that I needed to push a little bit further, and it was very interesting working with you, to be honest. It was great.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I know that I have to work a lot because I have no mm, the experience
There's
that I want.
Yeah,
but
and there's
but
no time to practice, because not everybody in Colombia speaks English, so it's very difficult to talk with someone every day or
yeah.
something like that. So I understand, and it's easier for me because I work with an American company. I speak English every day. I have to write it every day, so I understand that it these kind of situations also help you improve. But don't worry. I mean, I think you're doing pretty great, and yeah, it's just a matter of keep studying, and maybe if you have the time, try to check Live Mocha, or getting into like social networks where people can speak with each other, so that will help us improve more.
I I'm trying. I'm trying.
It's okay. I know that time
But
is difficult.
no. If I have to get time, I do. It's a what? I forget the word. It's what you have to do something and you have to do. How do you say that?
You ought to. You ought
Oh,
to do
to.
it.
Then I said I ought to do.
When I what do you need to do, so I can maybe organize
For
the
example,
word or phrase?
I need. I'm going. Give me no. Give me 2 minutes. Now this is the class. That's all for today. I'm going to stop the recording. Yes.
O- Okay.
Okay. Because that's all the class. But wait a minute.
Sure.